Hello, this video is about the end of financial privacy in the United States. I don't know if you remember, but when I was a kid, you can open up a bank account in Austria or Switzerland for 1,000, 5 or 10,000, and there was plenty of banks that would take you on as a client. This is November 2015, and in the last few years, most banks around the world don't even want you as a client if you have a US passport. But back in the good old days, all you needed was a photocopy of your passport and a handful of money orders and fill out that bank application and send it away, and you had your account. Back in those days, you could have what they call a Sparbuck, where you didn't even have to show ID. You just sent them cash and they deposited it to your account and gave you a passbook, and you just sent them the passbook and they'd send you cash, believe it or not. Those days are long gone. Now in 2015, if you're in Arizona, where my folks live anyways, they have these machines that the police pull out and set on the sides of the roads, and they take a picture of your car and send you a ticket for $250. And that's just how it goes now in the US. They have cell towers that follow and spy on your phone. So now if law enforcement wants to ask you, well, were you talking on your phone? Well, they have access to that information, and if you contradict what they have, you can get a ticket. What's that all mean? Well, I think it just means they just want to collect more revenue, and the government's getting more desperate for revenue, and it's not good. Right now, there's not much you can do about it. As a matter of fact, when you get in your car and you go on the freeway and you go through those lights, you might have noticed the cameras. Those cameras now can process all your information, including your driver's license, and they can clock you when you went through that intersection, when you got on the freeway, and when you get off. I don't know what it's all going to lead to, but some kind of tyranny, I think. Anyhow, this is about the end of privacy or financial privacy in the United States. And the one thing you can do to get it back is to buy gold. Most people won't do that, and you can tell that by the fact that you can go to a coin shop and there's hardly anyone there, or you can call a gold and silver broker and you don't have to wait in line. You can talk to them right when you call them. And imagine this: if you could cash in your chips in your 401k, your IRA, and take that cash and buy gold coins, would you do it? Because now you have an asset that's pretty private, only you know about it and the person that sold it to you. I mean, if you do it right. Most people won't do it. That's too bad. Another thing you might think about is if you're worried about the decline of your freedom and liberty in the United States, you can open up some accounts offshore, which is, like I said, not too easy to do, but still possible. If you're looking for privacy, probably the best thing to do is open a simple account and just be aware that it's going to be reported to the government no matter what you do. Now you can keep it under $10,000, but most banks find it cheaper just to report all accounts of all Americans, and with FACTA, that's just what they're doing. But the only way around that, there's two ways around that that I'm aware of. You can open a bank account with a second passport or a second ID if you have a residency somewhere else, or you can open a corporate account, and the corporation will own your account, assuming you're not the signature on the account. Then that won't be reported. But there's not much you can do except for maybe expat, set up a residency, then based on that residency, open a bank account either in that country or one of the surrounding countries with your foreign ID or your foreign passport when you get it. Of course, that all starts with a lawyer, and you'd be wise to consider using a lawyer. It'll make your job a lot easier when you expat. And that's another nice thing about expating is the low cost of living. And there's not a lot of, in at least Latin America, there's not a lot of rules and regulations concerning what you can and cannot do. It's all pretty straightforward. It's about like living in the US in the 70s and 80s. So there's that. It's a lot easier to start a business in most countries. You just buy or lease the land or buy and lease the equipment you want to use, and you just open up. But the only thing you really have to do is get a permit to do whatever it is you're doing. In some cases, you might have to get a license, but not always. Um, let's see, what else was I going to cover? And that's about it. It's not much you can do if you're going to stick it out in the U.S. Your life's an open book, and there's not much you can do about it unless you're willing to expat. I will suggest, if you're not going to expat, at least get some gold and buy it as private as you can. At least you have an asset that no one else knows about if you do it right. And that can help if you ever get sued, or if things don't work out for you in your business and you get sued, or if someone falls and hurts themselves on your property and they sue you. At least you have something to start over with. As far as buying gold, I would suggest you buy a highly liquid coin like the Gold Eagle or the Canadian Maple Leaf or the South African Rand. Those are pretty liquid in the States, but they're also pretty liquid anywhere in the world. And with the Canadian Maple Leafs, you have like as close as you can get to a 24 karat gold coin. And with the American Eagle and the South African Rand coins, you have about 10% copper, 9% gold, but it's pretty recognizable. And depending on where you're going with them, the rules and regulations can be different as regarding the actual gold content of the coin, and if you have to pay taxes when you bring it in. Anyhow, that's about all I have to say about that. If you have any comments, leave them. Tell me what you think about privacy in America, and will we ever get it back, and what you should do to get more of your privacy back, especially financial privacy. Thanks.